Hello, everyone, and happy summer. This is Courtney Bean, President of the Ontario Physiotherapy Association. As we embark into the summer months, I'm hoping that many of you will find the time for a bit of rest and relaxation and time to take advantage of the nice weather we're having so far in Ontario. And for those of you who might be in areas where we're starting to see some fires brew, please stay safe. I want to encourage you to try and listen to the end to get a few updates on a few items that the OPA has been working on and conversations of the Board of Directors. So, first, let me speak to something that is near and dear to my heart, which is scope of practice. As you might recall, thanks to Isaac Taylor, physiotherapist, we were able to leverage a conversation with Premier Ford and Minister Jones back in May, where we were reassured that scope should be moving. Of course, being increasingly impatient after our almost 16-year wait for regulation changes, I did follow up with them both via email last week and continue to await a response. Even though we've not seen the change yet, we continue to be optimistic and continue to encourage all of you to reach out to MPPs in your area around scope of practice for physiotherapists. We're optimistic, but we're not sitting back. And we continue to actively lobby, especially as there's no better time than now for this to occur. And this kind of brings me into my next item around primary care. The province is heavily focused on the attachment of all people living in Ontario to a primary care physician or primary care team. OPA continues to encourage and advocate for the huge role PTs and our teams can add to access to primary care services. And with our expanded scope, our contributions at such a critical time will be enormous. Another thing that we're working on is a review of the governance model that supports the Ontario Physio Association. Based on changes to bylaws of OPA driven by the Ontario Nonprofit Corporation Act, it's an opportune time to see if our current district model continues to work in this changing world, as well to see if the voting delegate model for election of directors and passing of bylaws and things such as that, if that meets the current needs. We're starting off our conversation by meeting with the amazing presidents and executive of our districts. And just so you know, there are 16 districts across Ontario. And this work will continue to engage them as well as all of you through the process. I also want to share that OPA continues to advocate on many other really important issues. Like, thanks to all of you who shared your thoughts with us on the College of Physiotherapists of Ontario consultation on the removal of provisional practice. We were able to share back a submission that reflected the thoughts of many of you who shared your impressions with us. But I also want to remind you to feel comfortable to provide your feedback directly to the college when CPO puts out requests for consultations. For me, it's kind of like voting. I always appreciate that I am asked and I get to share my voice. And in this case, it's sharing your voice with the staff and the board of CPO. OPA has developed a position statement to advocate for improved processes and consistent funding for access to services, including access to physiotherapy, for First Nations children in support of Jordan's Principle. You'll have received a copy through an iBlast, and I encourage you to have a read. We also continue to advocate for clarity in what the role of PT by physiotherapists will be for the new request for applications to secure integrated community health service center licenses. These are centers that will provide hip and knee replacement surgeries to low risk patients. Stay tuned for more information as this process continues and applications are submitted. And finally, I want to give you the exciting heads up that imminently you'll be seeing a different look to the OPA website. This refresh is exciting, and I have to give a huge thank you to the amazing staff of OPA for the hard work. So, on that note, I want to wish you all an amazing summer, and I look forward to connecting in the coming months. Take care.